Going somewhere a little bit different this week. How about off to Canada? Hello again, welcome back to Wasn't My Fault. As always, I'm a little bit late with videos. Just so much going on in life, and I've been on a holiday. I've been to Belgium for a couple of weeks, so I couldn't really post videos then, could I? So, family, vacations and all that. But anyway, let's get on with it. I've not tried one of these before. My parents got it for me a while back. Not that long ago, but a little bit ago, while they were on a cruise, as they tend to do. So it's a Canada Royal, or Canadian Royal, Crown Royal Black, from Canada. I do have quite an affinity for Canada. I did live there for several years. Oh, that's quite heavy. The only disappointing thing with this, it's the black bag, not the purple bag. I didn't get a regular one, because this is the black edition. So it's Crown Royal Black, robust, full-bodied, blended Canadian whiskey. So 1 litre, which explains why it's heavy. 90 proof, which is 45%, I believe, because it halves it. So I do like these bags. They're good for like dice and things like that. A lot of people use them for. It's a rather nice bottle as well, isn't it? So nice bag for something later. Rich and full body with a deep bourbon notes, all the smoothness of Crown Royal Fine Deluxe. Matured in charred oak barrels and blended to a higher proof for a richer texture and bold finish. Drink responsibly. Okay. Interesting, really dark colour, which you expect since it's a black edition. With the perforations, as always, they're a rip-off. Old joke. I'm an old guy, so dad jokes and all that. Let's get this open. Oh, it's weird the crown seal comes off. So it's a screw top, which is unusual for most of my whiskies. They tend to have corks. So let's go. Ooh. Nice smell to it. I may have to enjoy this. That is very, very dark. So some of the black ones don't tend to be that dark, but that one, that has an incredible darkness to it. Right. So I'm going to be is it stereotyping if I say I'm expecting like notes of maple syrup? See, I love Canada. I was there for many years. I loved it. I was in Toronto quite often. So I was actually in Ontario, so not far from Toronto, not far from Niagara Falls. A place called Kitchener and Waterloo are the two places I stayed. It's a lovely place. Amazing people as well. I'm not saying that because I've been there, but I'd lived in upstate New York for a while before that as well, and I thought the people were great there as well. Different though, Canadians are more like the British than they are American, which I think is why we probably get on so well. But anyway. Yeah, it is. There is a sweet maple syrupness to it, believe it or not. Figgy, I guess. It's the best way I can kind of describe it. I love, like, the little fig rolls? I don't know what you call them in other places. Fig Newtons, are they? They're like little biscuits or cookies with like fig in the middle. Oh, I love those growing up. I haven't had those for a long time. Makes me think of that. But with maple syrup. Not the biscuity, but the actual, like, fig. I used to love those again. I haven't had those for a long time. We have to get some of those. But yeah, that's what it's making me think of. Alright, let's try it. I can't believe how dark it is. It's like a spiced rum or something. Wow. Definitely a bourbon. It's got quite a few strong flavours in it. I'm trying to figure out what it all is. What else can I get from this? There is definitely, it is, right, my phone. It is definitely vanilla-y as well. So yeah, fig biscuits, fig Newtons or whichever. Yeah, that's what it makes me think of, but with maple as well. It's quite peppery as well. A bit cinnamon as well. There's definitely a spicy kind of bite to it. So I don't mind. And as it lingers a little bit as well. Definitely spiciness. Oh, I wish that was something like that. So put up this so it doesn't make so much noise. So it's definitely, yeah, that's what I get from it, is kind of spicy layer to it. The maple syrup, the figs, the vanilla, and it is unmistakably a bourbon. So I'm looking forward to how it's going to compare, like the old fashioned and things like that, because I think that's going to be really something special. Right, let's try with a drop of water, see if we can open it up a little bit. A little bit more than that. That didn't seem to be very good. That's better. Let's see what that does. More maple syrup, sweeter definitely. Yeah, it's a lot more maple syrup, less fig. It doesn't change it that much. It takes out some of the spice, but it's left a lot more peppery finish. It's quite a bite to it. Definitely kind of a peppery finish that's brought out the peppery a lot more. I prefer it without water, to be honest, because I'm not getting the kind of sweetness, the maple, the fig. It's made like the cinnamon and the kind of the strong bourbony feel to it with the pepper and all that kind of thing coming up the finish. So not my favourite with that, but neat. I quite like that. Right, let's see how it does mixing it a little bit. So I'll be right back. Hello, welcome back. Well, you've been away. I have, but never mind. Okay, so we have ice, we have Pepsi Max, we have the makings of an old fashioned, and we have black coffee. Because this is how we roll here. So I always figure, if you're going to test something, test it in multiple ways. The main reason I'm doing this is because I tend to like it neat. Some people like it with ice. A lot of drinks do mix well with Pepsi or Coke, whichever your preference. I want to try cocktail and coffee because, you know, coffee and whiskey go hand in hand, don't they? Although usually you have like cream or milk or something in it, but I don't, so never mind. So it's a standard 25ml measure. One in each, but two for the old-fashioned. One in the coffee as well. It's just a standard black Americano. I could do a filter, but to be honest, I've got a bean to cup machine. I just press a button and it makes me coffee. So that's what I tend to drink every day. So that's what I'm sticking with for this. So as you can see, we have everything here. We have it with ice. We have it with Pepsi. We have an old-fashioned. We have coffee. Right. Let's mix them all up a little bit. Give it the best chance we can to incorporate so we can taste it. And a bit of a rinse. I am looking forward to the old-fashioned, I can't lie. The trouble with a lot of whiskey, especially things like the one from Scotland, that sort of thing, a nice Scotch tends to be a lot more subtle flavour. And you put in something like an old-fashioned which has a lot of kind of bitter and very sweet all at the same time, you find that the Scotch tends to kind of disappear and doesn't do a lot. The bourbon, which you are supposed to have in an old-fashioned anyway, tends to have a lot more robust flavours, a lot more intense flavours. Not necessarily as many or as complex. Some of them are, but compared to Scotch, Scotch is very much kind of delicate flavours and floral and that sort of thing a lot of the times. Or if it obviously is Ardbeg, then, you know, a lot of strong smoky flavours. But that's where bourbon works really well. Like, you can't beat the classic Jack Daniels and Coke. Jack Daniels and Coke is just brilliant because of how strong flavoured the Jack Daniels is, and it brings that through into Coke. You put Jameson in a Coke and you can't really taste the Jameson. So, you know, swings and roundabouts, swings and roundabouts. Alright, let's try a little bit of ice. Then I will come back to it later so it's had a chance. I always put a round ice cube in it, although it doesn't seem to have fallen very well this time, but never mind. Oh, that's got rid of all the peppery notes. It's left it kind of sweet maple, a little bit of fig, a little bit of cinnamon, a slight bit of vanilla. That's actually really nice. So on a summer's day, that might be my go-to at the moment. It's taken all the harshness out of it, which it had the sweet notes, but then it kind of finished really sort of peppery and spicy. It kind of bit the back of your tongue and that sort of thing. But that took away all of that. That's actually really nice. More generic kind of alcohol taste as well, but you are getting the kind of more sweet mapley aftertones to it, which is actually quite pleasant because it kind of lingers with you. I like maple syrup, and it's just kind of lingering on the tongue. You can just kind of sense it, almost like wafting it in front of you, and it's kind of like, you know, if you're walking around you can smell maple syrup, you can kind of taste it. It's that effect on the finish. That's really quite nice. I'm hoping it'll do something similar with a Pepsi. Oh, that'd be good. Maple Pepsi. Actually, that's not bad. I wouldn't say you can overly taste the alcohol in it, but definitely sweetens it up, and it does give that maple kind of aftertaste, the finish to it, kind of talk. That works really well. I like that. If you want something sweet, then yeah, that definitely brings out the sweetness. What did it do to the coffee? This is intriguing. I've not tried a crown royal before. So it brings out the kind of woody notes to coffee, I've noticed. Pretty much all whiskey does. So it's not quite as bitter. Like I said, I have it black, fairly strong. So it's always fairly bitter. And it's taken away some of the bitterness, added some woodiness, and just that little hint of sweetness as it kind of disappears. Yeah, that finish is quite nice. I don't mind that, I must admit. That was one of the nicer ones in coffee. Because once again, coffee is such a strong, you know, intense flavour that to kind of match that has to be something quite special. That does quite well. Well done, Canada. Now, one of my favourites. I love an old-fashioned. And once again, if you haven't seen my video before, I don't have a bit of orange peel on there. One, it's a waste of oranges. I don't tend to eat them because I do have a bad reaction to it. It dries out my skin and it's no good. So I'm not going to waste a whole orange just to get a little bit of peel on it. So that's why there's no orange peel in this. But I have everything else. Old-fashioned is fairly straightforward anyway. No, that's not bad. It definitely brings out the maple syrup flavours. Yeah, it's once again, it's the finish. Oh, it's really sweet, and sometimes it's got simple syrups in it, so it's fairly sweet, and it's got the bitter, but it is coming through with the maple syrup. Ooh. I miss maple syrup. Went to a maple syrup festival while I was over in Canada. It's like in the snow, and you just get maple syrup everywhere. Everything's maple syrup, and you get pancakes with maple syrup. They like dig a hole in the snow, pour maple syrup in it, put like a stick from a lollipop in it, and you just pull it out, and it'd just be like frozen maple syrup. Oh, lovely. So good. Maple syrup is the best. That's all I can taste now. It's just like it's there on the kind of tip of my tongue type of thing. Oh, I'm enjoying this. It's all the bitterness at first. Most of the figures kind of disappeared at this point. A little bit of kind of fruitiness to it, and the citrus from obviously the bitters, and then it just kind of melts away to the sweetness and the maple kind of just a hint of maple as it kind of dissipates and just leaves like a whiff of it. Oh, that's nice. No, I like that. That might be my new favourite old fashioned. Not bad. Again, the coffee's quite nice. It does take a lot to take away harshness from black coffee, but it does a reasonable job of just cutting away a little bit and giving you a nice sweet aftertaste. That's not bad. It's very sweet. I don't think I could drink many of those. It's like you've got Pepsi and mix Coke into it. Like Coca-Cola before you get the wrong idea. Because I find Coca-Cola too sweet. I like Pepsi. I can't stand Coke. I find it's too sweet. I always drank Diet Coke as a kid because I just didn't like how sweet Coca-Cola is. So I'd always had the diet versions, or light, or whatever you want to call it, versions that didn't have real sugar in it, just because I don't like things that sweet. Some people say that the aspartame and so on taste sweeter. For me, it doesn't. It's a different kind of sweetness. And it's the sugary coats your teeth that, oh, no, can't do that. Right, let's try this now. It's cooled down. Have we lost all of the interesting stuff, or is it still there? It's still not bad after having all these other strong flavours. It has just taken away all the peppery. There's a little hint of like a cinnamon kind of spiciness to it rather than a pepper spice, which is quite nice just as it finishes, and then a little bit of sweetness. It's quite refreshing, it's not bad. Okay, back to the basic. It's just maple syrup and fig. A little bit of vanilla. That's really nice. Yeah, the spice really hits the back of your throat and the back of your tongue. Yeah, and it's still got that level of sweetness just kind of floating through and kind of appearing a little bit at the end, but it's mainly the kind of spicy, really kind of peppery bite to it, which isn't bad. I'm actually pleasantly surprised. So a lot of people do say, oh, Canadian whiskey, Crown Royal, blah blah blah, and they don't think it's that good. I'm impressed. This is one of my favourites now. I have to try some other Crown Royals, and they come in purple bags, and it's me, so I need a purple bag. But that old fashioned was fantastic. I really enjoyed that. It's quite good in Coke, or in Pepsi. Ooh, pardon me. But I think it would get too sweet too soon for me. Really nice with ice, nice neat. Works okay in coffee. It's not one of my favourites, but it's reasonable. But the old fashioned is a winner. Absolutely fantastic. So thanks all for watching. Hopefully you found this informative. If you did, please think about subscribing and leave me a like, and please comment. Have you tried other Crown Royals? Is there other things that taste like that with the maple? Are there better Canadian whiskies? Please let me know, and I shall track them down and try them. So until next time, see you then. Bye bye.